seconds remaining.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Ladder Season 12. We are in China. It's day number 2 of China, the Stage 1 session, if you will, between two groups of, I believe it is 8 teams. The top couple of teams are going to be moving to Stage number 2, and, well, we got a lot of new rosters to debut, and it's going to be an exciting one here. Today, we're going to have Invictus Gaming taking on EHOME China. Not to be confused, there are 2 EHOME teams. Like I said before, there's EHOME China as well as EHOME Malaysia, which is the one that people might be more familiar with Mushi, with KYXY, the old Orange Esports / Titan Squad, whatever you want to call it. But here, EHOME consists of some of the old boys, if you will. ROTK, Lanham, DDC, ZYF, and Flame, and Invictus Gaming, still with Chuan, still with Burning. Or sorry, still with Chuan and still with Ferrari and Faith and Luo, but now they got Burning on their side, so this is exciting. A big team right there. And, well, bringing you the coverage, it's us over on Beyond the Summit. I'm KotLGuy, and I'm not going to be going out alone. I got my good buddy Cameron Basskip. He's joining me remotely. First things first, Basskip, I want to ask, how are you doing? But second, I want to ask, I know you were casting IG yesterday with Gods. What was your impressions, man? Are they good?
Oh, so for one, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And yeah, Invictus Gaming, they looked really solid yesterday. The first series was really a stomp. Second series, a little bit closer. It did seem like LGD had a couple more things up their sleeve, but IG still really seemed to cruise through that. So I think if they go really well here today as well, then it's probably pretty fair to call them Tier 1 material. And I think the drafting as well yesterday was a really big thing, and it looks like EHOME have also been paying attention. They're going to get rid of the silencer and the broodmother off the bat, which is going to open things up a lot for IG.
Yeah, going very respective in these first couple of bands means there's a lot of top priority picks out there. The ones that jump out to me right now, it's like Axe, Sniper's still there, Shadow Fiend. This leaves a lot of stuff ripe for the pickings. And I only got to watch a couple of the highlighted clips from IG's performance yesterday, and that Luo Broodmother was just ridiculous. It was a monster, so I'm not really surprised that they got rid of it. But to get rid of it, I mean, is it worth just, from what you saw, is it worth the respect ban, or could they have considered baiting it out and getting up like a precious Axe early on and just countering it in that sense? I've also seen people run like Zeus and Spirit Breaker just to make sure they can keep their Broodmothers in check.
Yeah, personally, I don't feel like it's worth the first phase ban. I mean, Invictus Gaming did pick it yesterday, but they picked it last, and it was into a lineup that didn't really have tools to deal with it. Yes, it can be really frustrating from a drafting point of view if the enemy team, grabs something like Broodmother, and then you have to start reacting a lot. But like you said, I think they could have maybe left it a little bit later, maybe a phase 2 ban. Though it does seem like it was the same thing for LGD yesterday. They also just banned it out pretty much immediately. And we're also continuing to see this silencer ban a lot, in fact. It was sort of IG's answer yesterday to Storm Spirit, but it also got banned in the first series as well. So I don't know if there's something that's been going on in scrims or something like that to warrant all these silencer bans, but it seems like nobody wants to let IG have it for whatever reason. And
I'm guessing they like to run it more as a support, right? Not the Slasher's way with the whole Shadow Blade core? No?
Well, we only saw it support once yesterday. Gods and I were both fingers crossed for a core silencer, but it didn't happen. But I'm still hoping to see a little bit more core silencer potentially.
The Slasher's way, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't. First ban. Yeah, there's got to be something we don't know about that maybe happened behind closed doors of scrim action or something. Or maybe they're just like, we're about to go huge team wombo combo like Treon Protector, Phoenix, Magnus, or Earthshaker, whatever, Enigma, just to make the most out of having silencer out of the game. But for now, at least, you got to get up a couple of the standards. They grab the Vengeful Spirit, Shadow Fiend combo on the Dire side. That's just like a match made in heaven. You get a sweet amount of minus armor synergy, a good Roche lineup right there, and a good lane dominator in the sense that you're going to have Shadow Fiend potentially going toe-to-toe with Storm Spirit, and if EHOME want, they can make an aggressive early game with this Vengeful Spirit. But that's something that Invictus Gaming are also very familiar with. One of the other things, aside from Luo's Broodmother on those highlights I saw yesterday, was the fact that IG were just so freaking aggressive there, Cameron. It was like, what was it? It was Lion and someone else, and they just went from lane to lane, tearing stuff up. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they had a Lion Venge combo
Yeah.
in that Broodmother game, and they were just roaming everywhere, finding kills. Faith and Chuan reunited, doing work. So could see some more of that this game. EHOME, like you said, if they're on the dire side, the Vengeful Spirit Shadow Fiend is going to be pretty nice. This is actually the draft. This game is very, very similar to a draft that we saw yesterday between IG and LGD. I think it was actually the first game. IG had the Storm, the Chen. I think they ended up grabbing a Drow, a Bristleback, and a Witch Doctor as their other picks. And EHOME, well, LGD in this case, had VS, Shadow Fiend, and they ended up grabbing a Necrophos and kind of running a pretty 5-man oriented lineup. But we are already starting to see some trends in terms of how the teams are opening their drafts and whatnot.
So while we're halfway through the drafting point, I just want to make sure I could reassure myself and everyone knows what to expect here for Star Ladder. I'm going to go ahead and use this production value here, Basskip, to show up the group stages here. We got, perfect timing too. We got Group A and Group B here. 4 teams each, so what that means, it's 8 teams in 2 groups of 4, each played in a round-robin format. The top 2 teams of each of these groups will advance to Stage 2, and all matches, of course, are going to be played as a best of 3. In Stage 2, 4 teams play in a double elimination bracket. The top 2 teams are qualified for the Star Ladder Season 12 finals. And then you can see the groups right there. No group too easy. These are both pretty stacked. And, well, it's really hard to say with some of these new rosters as far as, you know, who's going to be looking really good. From what I saw, I'd have to say my top 3, and I want to hear your top 3 as well, Basskip. I liked IG, LGD, and I want to say Newbie. I feel like they're going to be like the top 3 teams to emerge. What would you say between the latest shuffle?
I got to bring up the list. Give me a sec.
No problem, man. I think I got it here. In fact, we got IG, which you've already seen, as well as LGD. Vici Gaming, of course, they got rid of Black and brought in Hal. Newbie, they got what was it, June. And then, of course, like Xiao Wei made that move over to LGD as well. So there was a couple of shifts all around. And in that mix also, you got to consider there's EHOME, which we're seeing right now. There's still a team DK, CDEC, Tong Fu. Speed Gaming is probably the team I know the least about, unfortunately. And then I believe that's it. So any early impressions?
I feel like IG and Vici are probably still very safe bets. I thought LGD... I think LGD still have a lot of potential, but I think Xiao Wei just going to have to take a little bit of time to adjust to the meta and get more comfortable in his draft. So maybe for now I'll sub out your pick of Newbie for LGD, but that could very well change as we start to see some more games out of these teams. And in fact, Newbie's first game, I guess.
Well, with the draft at hand now, look at this. I don't know. It feels like it might be like, what, 6 months ago or something? Elder Titan being picked up here from EHOME. This hero just seemed to be put on the sidelines after a while. There was a big boom of it as a big off-lane. Ice 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 was tearing house with it. And then more teams started experimenting with having Elder Titan as a support. We saw not Cloud9, but it was big Team Secret when Big Daddy was on the team. He ran a lot of the support Elder Titan. They really took they put a lot behind this natural order. And, getting the Yules is kind of like the similar way we saw like Jakiros get Yules. They had for easy setup, good team fight. But ever since then, Basskip, I haven't seen it. So I think it's really interesting to see EHOME pick it up and put it in the draft right here.
Yeah, RTK is actually pulling up something a little bit more old school, going for the ET Ember Spirit combo here. There's other really nice reasons to have it, like you touched on. You're really picking it for the natural order, but they've got a bunch of minus armor to lump on top of the natural order as well. So if this game starts to drag on a little bit, the right-click damage is just going to get ridiculous from EHOME. And their high ground defense is also crazy between the ET and the Ember, assuming that the Ember can get his items up at a decent clip. So it does look like IG are going to be racing a little bit this game to try and close it out as quickly as they can.
I do like the picking order that EHOME did. The way they grabbed this Elder Titan, it's still uncertain if this is an off-lane Elder Titan or a support, and they could almost even call an audible and just kind of change it up at the end. And that could also keep IG guessing, like, oh, Haven't seen that guy in a while. I'm very curious on how they're going to be running this and how we're going to have to set up our lanes here. They've already put themselves in with a, what I imagine being, at least for now, though, it could be a Luo safe lane farming Storm Spirit, but their Chen Lion support duo, and then what I imagine being their off lane setup with Tidehunter. So late game, raw damage, a bit fickle. You know, it's like Storm Spirit all for now, and I have to agree with you. It's feeling like IG, they got less time on the clock to work with. They're going to have to try to put their game plan in motion sooner than later. That is, unless they pull out something crazy here like a Medusa to try to really stall things out for the late show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overemphasize it and say that they need to end extremely quickly. You know, we're not talking 25 minutes or anything like that. Chen goes a little bit later than he used to. Tidehunter and Storm Spirit, they're not carries, but they do scale very, very well. So even if they do end up taking out a bunch of towers and they aren't quite able to close it out, I don't think their chances are immediately dead. But yeah, you expect to see IG sort of in the driving seat for the initial part of this game. And they end up going for a sniper. This is a hero that Gods and I yesterday were both saying, you know, where are the sniper picks? He just hasn't really been considered, and it just seems like he's a little bit less valued at the moment over in the Chinese scene. But they are picking a lot of Storm Spirit. We saw a little bit of Spirit Breaker as well yesterday, and that was the big answer to the sniper in the one game that we saw him.
Yeah, rarely you get to see Sniper make it this far and deep into the draft. This guy has to be the #1 most hated hero in the game right now. I think there was even like a freaking Reddit thread at the top today, just like, I'm tired of his peeping. I'm tired of it. The ho-ho ha-ha, it's driving me crazy. But he does make his way in there, taking advantage of EHOME with their lack of gap closing. And I was going to make a call out that if it was going to be a support Elder Titan, that they could have considered something like a Spirit Breaker offlane who does really good at being able to get in the face of Sniper, or just at least something. Clockwork had been banned out, so that was kind of a giveaway that IG might have been considering something like a Sniper. But they're going to finish out their draft with a Shadow Shaman. That means this Elder Titan is going to be in a core position. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, RTK handling it in the offlane could get a little bit tough. There might be some ganks coming his way. I like the Shadow Shaman as the final pickup. I think it gives EHOME a little bit more early Roshan potential. Vengeful Spirit is a great hard 5 position hero, so they can definitely afford to pool a little bit more farm over under the Shadow Shaman and make sure that he gets his blink and has the items that he needs to have an impact this game. So not something that we see a heck of a lot of. I think he's actually a pretty forgotten hero in the Western scene, but I think this is twice in 2 days now that we've seen the Shadow Shaman over here in China.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman for a while there felt like he was being replaced, I want to say almost. Lion had kind of stepped up as the core single lockdown kind of a hero, and with Roche changing a bit. I'm going to have to reconnect to this game, by the way. It is an ultra slideshow mode for me, so while I kind of shoot the shit here, I'm going to do a quick disconnect, reconnect here. But yeah, ever since it seemed like Lion was kind of the platinum all-star for that kind of position, Shadow Shaman kind of fell off a bit. He was thriving when it was the old Dire setup and you had access to the Roche so easily, and building around a Roche was so much more simpler and making advantage. But I'm back in the game right now, and it looks like in just good time. I might need to reset a couple of my hotkeys, but I don't want to do it yet because we have movement here from EHOME, aggressive movement into the IG jungle, maybe looking to, you know, plant a couple of these wards, really hit it to Chen early on, make sure he doesn't have easy access to some of these camps. Looking at Chuan, he doesn't have any sentries on hand, and neither does Faith, so neither of them saving up a little bit of reserve gold just in case something like this happens, though, Basskip. So that is pretty interesting to see. I wonder if this is going to affect them at all. They even went pretty deep over here. Look at this sentry. They're going to be blocking out the side camps as well.
Yeah, the one play that IG can potentially make to deal with this is just team the Lion up with the Chen and try and make their way over into the Dire jungle. And like you said, because they don't have sentries, that may actually just have to be the way forward for IG. They got kind of greedy with the overall item setup. Lua grabs boots first. They also grab boots first on Faith. So no gold for sentries floating around, and that means that it's a sad start to the game for Chuan.
All right, well, before the first blood does strike, I'll lead in with some roster introductions here, and I'll lead in. Radiant side, we got Invictus Gaming, slightly rebuilt a little bit with a few additions. We'll talk about it here. It's going to be Ferrari 430, though, in your mid lane Stone Spirit. He's been an all-star and part of RG for quite a while. Nearby, we got none other than Mr. Chuan, not being the Chuantris. He's going to be rolling with his jungle Chen. Up and above, we got Luo, who's going to be playing your off-lane Tidehunter, and that leaves your bottom lane, currently a lot of aggression here onto ROTK, forcing him all the way back. He's going to going to have to use that salve. It's Burning playing the Sniper. I think this is the first time I've personally seen Burning do Sniper. Lately, it's been a lot of the Jug kind of thing, but also we have Faith back on his Lion. And Basskip, if you wouldn't mind, you want to introduce the dire side for me?
Yeah, real quick. So over on EHOME, we have RTK handling the offlane ET. We've got Inflame mid on the Shadow Fiend. Lamb is going to be on your Shadow Shaman up towards top lane. DDC on that hard fight with the Vengeful Spirit. And we have ZYF on the Ember over in the safe lane.
I think their team should also be called Liars because a lot of these people, or for both sides, said that they were going to retire.
Retired.
Yeah, retire. I'm going to retire, a.k.a. I just want to not really play with this team and kind of take a moment to do my own thing and then really come back and say I missed the game. So, well, that's what we have 3 quoted retired players in this match, I believe. What, Burning, Lanham, and ROTK all claim that they were going to be hanging up the Dota gloves, but I guess they got the itch. They got to keep playing here.
I mean, I think the definition of retirement in Dota now is I want to take a 6-month break for the game, but I want to come back right before TI and play in TI. I think that's often how it goes.
I want to retire then, so I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be the first caster to retire in that kind of sense then in China. But here we go, leading in. We'll take an early look at the CS. You can see mid lane Ferrari. He's at 10-2 over the Shadow Fiend 4-2. This is a bit of an exhibition happening here for Ferrari in the last hitting game mid lane. But tied with him in that top CS, you can see the Ember Spirit here at top lane. He's got all the room to work with. He's got plenty of CS to kind of build in for himself early on. But, man, Basskip, is this going to be a problem for Inflame early on? I'm seeing Ferrari getting up and ahead. He's already reached level 4. But on the other side, you see Shadow Fiend at 4.5. So I guess he's got the advantage in XP. But farm-wise, it goes to Ferrari.
I think we're just used to seeing Shadow Fiends go for more of the level 1 Shadow Rays build these days and just get the bottle up really quickly and start spamming. And I think that helps keep you a bit more even on CS. But yeah, Ferrari just showing off his laning prowess and punishing the SF really early on for picking up that first point in Necromastery at level 1. I think it's still going to be fine for Inflame. He's getting pressured, but SF's one of the best catch-up heroes in the game. They could set up some minor stacks for him, or he's even just going to be fine spamming out mid lane, I think.
I'm curious why Luo is hanging around mid lane as well now. I guess he's just was waiting and did an ancient stack there, but now he's just kind of has eyes towards mid. Not a level into Gush yet, actually reserving the second one. But our first blood's going to be happening on the bottom. A bit of an overdive here as they have the muscle power to do it. Chuan and his Centaur groupie able to move on forward, and they get the first blood taking down ROTK. We question Elder Titan and his kind of run back to the off lane. Well, it looks like he's going to have a bit of a struggle. And as he comes back, he sees that creep again and is like, ah, God damn it. Leave me alone. He's going to need some help. Oh, boy. Stunned. Oh, no. This could be double takedowns. Oh, it will be. They hex him up. Right clicks are coming. And ROTK goes down for a second time straight. That time we got it live in front of everyone.
Yeah, I think that's very similar to how the first one went down. I think IG actually popped their smoke, the one that they had a little bit earlier, to loop around and get that first death, but... yeah, Elder Titan going down for a second time, that's nothing but a mistake, I think, from RTK. Could have TP'd in all the way to the tier 2 to scout things out, but just wants to get right up in that experience that was pushing into his tower and ends up being punished for it. So another great start for IG. They're 5th in as many days. I think they've pretty much done well out of the laning phase in every match that they've had so far in Star Ladder.
Yeah, this is their final match. I know that IG also have a set date to go out to Major All-Stars in Malaysia to compete, so they needed to crank out their Star Ladder matches sooner than later. So that's why we got to see a IG doubleheader yesterday, and then they're going to play their final match of Stage 1 tonight. So with a win here, they could walk out of Stage 1 undefeated. I mean, at this point, they've almost secured a pass into Stage 2. So they could have taken this one a bit more loose, but being able to secure a better position certainly could be worth it. So they're going to try to keep moving forward, and after a win today, they look to go on the next stage. For these other teams, though, they need to put together the wins to try to make sure they make it to that second stage. So EHOME, no excuse for them. This is going to be their first time taking on IG. We'll see if they're going to be the first squad to take out the new roster.
Yeah, this lane ward from the Radiant is putting in a lot of work, but this time around RTK kind of realizes that the supports might be away. He's actually just coming back to block a little bit, but yeah, he's realized that Lion is off and away, but he is still in vision, and Ferrari gets a solo kill in the meantime.
Well,
I think another gank comes in for RTK bot.
Yep, they're going to lock in. Shrapnel's there. There's the stun. And yeah, ROTK should go down. Relatively easy grab there. Just moving on forward. They have clear vision. They already have the Imba ward up on the high ground to see exactly if rotations are there. Anyone's waiting behind trying to bait out ROTK, but that's certainly not the case. And yeah, at that same moment, Ferrari just finds an easy solo pick taking down the mid laner. So guess you could say mid and bottom lane easily won in the early phase for IG. And off lane, not too terrible either, but we have yet to get a CS on Luo here. Level 2, try to get level 3. Yet to even know what it's like to take down a creep.
Yeah, he's been playing it really conservatively, but he's got some Ancients stacked up a little bit, and Ferrari is going to very kindly give him the mid lane for a little while here, so yeah, he's still getting something done, and does get his first creep of the game at long last.
Woo. So he's going to take that, walk away. Ferrari takes his lane back. And of course this means that for EHOME, the top lane, they've had an Ember Spirit who continues to farm up. So that's the one thing they have going for them. It could be the dark horse for their squad, but last time I checked, 2 is better than 1. So with the 2 lane advantage right now of IG, they should look to thrive. And
oh no, was this totally scouted? They just TP'd 3 heroes bot.
Yeah,
but I think it was.
They smoked up as they came.
Oh,
it might have been
still going for it.
Yep, ROTK gets sheeped. They really shot the shot, but the remnant forward. Here comes ZYF looking to kind of break the line. But look at all the shrapnel get dropped. Lanham can't even get close, and he's eating so much damage. He's got to get the hell out of there. And look at this creep. Get over here, you little. He wants to take out Lanham, and Lanham's going to get scouted. Oh, it gets blocked in the corner, and it's going to let Lanham escape. And surprisingly, after all this rotation, no one goes down. So good shrapnel work from Birding. Prevents EHOME from playing very aggressive, and what also might have been pre-scouted.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure they saw that smoke coming in. They still wanted to go for the kill on ROTK, but managed to get out with no casualties. And that's a lot of time invested for EHOME as well. The supports walked all the way down bot, they popped a smoke, and they had their Ember Spirit make his way down there as well. So EHOME support's definitely behind now. And well, meanwhile, IG, they've also just been quietly farming away on Luo. He's level 4, he's got his arcane boots. His stack is still untouched. So things are now looking really good for the Tidehunter.
Speaking of stacks, so you also have Inflame over here who's working with a pretty big girthy stack, raising it down right now, trying to put together. He'll have the power treads online, but he was brought down and could be brought down again. Ferrari says, hey, how's it going? He'll get him. Maybe he jumps forward and gets the courier as well. No, that would have been too sweet. But for now, he gets the solo pick. Shadow Fiend just really putting him in his place once more. Don't mess with Ferrari, man. This guy is a world-class mid laner, and he is just kind of teaching a lesson right now to the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, well, bury. Inflame's also no joke, but I guess Ferrari just kind of showing him how it's done.
Yeah, Ferrari's Storm Spirit is just so solid, and that's just an example of kind of getting in your opponent's head a little bit. He knows that the Shadow Fiend didn't do all that amazingly in the lane, and since he's no longer there, he's likely off in the jungle. It's a fairly obvious play, but you know, still good to continue to reinforce and continue to punish the Shadow Fiend. He does have some all-right farm now, but you know, that's still going to set him back.
Feels like EHOME might be pressured to try to do something about burning in his sniper. He's just getting a bit too much, and you can see it in the body language here.
Oh, no way. Chuan was microing the Centaur, and he saw that he bumped into the Ember Spirit.
Then he pinged it out frantically, too.
Yeah, he pinged it immediately. He knows, because he was actively microing the Centaur at the time. That's crazy.
Look at Burning. He's like, okay, I'm going to get my closet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's just...
Wow.
And he only bumped it once. It's not even like the Centaur got blocked multiple times. Chuan was just paying attention and completely prevents this gank. That's huge. That's
just convenience as he's controlling the creep, knows the stutter step probably the wide open, and that's more enough of a signal to play it extra cautious, and it clearly pays off. This Invis rotation is going to leave Ember Spirit with getting nothing. He's just desperate. He's like, I might as well farm something to get something out of it. There is a DD that will be snagged up from your Shadow Fiend, and now he looks to get involved with the action bottom lane, but it's already broken out. They're making it go on RTK. Shrapnel takes out once with the stun. There's going to be the Earthspike follow-up and the Centaur stun. It's Chuan who gets the kill, but now Faith dishes out the finger. It's going to be soaked up from the Flame Guard. Oh, narrow escape. Not happening. Burning goes down. Faith could be next and will be next. So a double kill for ZYF on his Ember Spirit. In a gank that, well, IG should have known we're coming, but ROTK... though he's the one that pays the price, they get away with the nice twofer.
Yeah, and a little skirmish that EHOME desperately needed. And I guess the great thing as well for them is that the gold and experience is all going to their number 1 and number 2 cores. The ET doesn't really matter if he's a little bit underfarmed. At this game, he's pretty much just natural order on a stick, so it doesn't really need too many items to accomplish that.
The walking natty order, man. I mean, life's hard at that point, but at least you're doing your job, and he's definitely going all for it. 0 points into his Q, going all in with the W and the E, and even holding off on the precious little ultimate for now. It's just been so... I'm a bit rusty with my Elder Titan, man. And I don't want to say ROTK is as well, but it's looking like it's been a bit of a rough start. So we'll get to see him flourish soon enough, and we'll see if that damage amplification is going to really pay off. The minus armor is out of control. I know we already talked about it in the draft, but just looking at it now, this is just absolutely crazy. So there's definitely strong potential there for EHOME to get the upper hand and just really surprise IG with how much potent damage they got. Even with a Hand of God, it might not be enough the later this game goes.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. We touched on it in the draft, but the right clicks are just going to be crazy if this game goes any significant amount of time and the Ember manages to develop any kind of substantial items. So IG probably just waiting for their probably blink mech timing to go and start knocking down some towers. And as much as things have been looking pretty bad for EHOME, that is the one thing that you can say for them. They've still got all of their tier 1s standing, and they've been willing to move heroes to defend if IG look like they're making any kind of aggressive moves. So that'll probably continue for now.
For now, it looks like EHOME are going to add some pressure to that top tier 1. We'll see if IG look to rotate and defend. Just touching base here with Ferrari. He's going more of the snowball-y early build, going right for the Bloodstone. Sometimes some spirits, at least from what I've seen with Europe and North American play, they like to, yeah, of course, grab your Soul Ring as just a good old reliable Soul Ring at first. Then you finish out something like an Orchid, use that to build into your Soul Booster and your Bloodstone, and that's when you build in all the sweet charges. But I guess maybe Ferrari feels like he's been bringing in already some early kills and some big bonus gold, and he'll just go for the stone right off the bat.
It's Storm Spirit's best farming item, you know, if he picks it up first, so it's only going to accelerate his later item pickups coming out as well. I think there's also something to be said for the extra HP when you've got somebody like Chen on your team, when you've got a Hand of God and a mech backing you up and you've got 1600 health because of your Bloodstone. It actually makes Storm very, very tanky. And the only person that he really needs to avoid this game is the Shadow Shaman or, you know, say a potential Yules coming out of in Flame. It's not too difficult for somebody like Ferrari to potentially dodge a magic missile from the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of which, looking at Inflame, it's the standard, the Eastern standard as it been as of recent, going with the mech and then probably BKB or something from there. Not really getting with the Yules kind of get up. A lot of these younger ones seem to be pulling in with their Shadow Fiend play, but I do have to say, there is a place for everything, and I guess feeling like there's no one else on the team to really build up a mech. Whoa, long jump. Nope, that's just Ferrari going for the rune. He's hungry for it. But yeah, I guess with just the setup as it is and no real mech candidates on the team otherwise, he's just going to kind of go down that road of the old cookie cutter Shadow Fiend get up. So we'll see if that bit of survivability will help out enough, because well, there could be burst potential on its way here from IG, especially when you got something like a finger, you got your assassinate. You might need that mech to just kind of shake it off and be able to go right back into the fight.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anybody to stand behind in the team fights here you know, if they get jumped, so he kind of needs to beef up and just be the front line, and I think the mech's perfect for that. But like you said, this is pretty cookie cutter build for Shadow Fiend these days, just picking up the extra survivability. And should work out pretty nicely. There is, you know, a decent amount of AoE on IG's team as well, so the mech's not only for him, should have some pretty strong benefit for the rest of the team.
Well, we're going to see a trade of towers here. Bottom tier 1 will go down. Doesn't cost Lanham wards because, well, Lanham's not level 6 yet, but he's getting pretty close, and then those wards will come into play. Meanwhile, Ferrari was able to kind of clear out what looks like the mid tier 1 tower, and even add a little bit of pressure on that tier 2. So, you know, as we were talking about before, this is that period of time where we're just waiting. Blinks are now coming online, though. Luo grabs a hold of his. This is where the game starts to get a bit spicy. Now, I do have to admit, it's been a while since I've casted some Chinese Dota. Before this, I was doing Europe, and before that, NA, and, well, that's CIS Dota, you know, NA Dota. You expect crazy things to happen. Chinese scene, they like to play more slow, more methodical, at least from what I saw, you know, playing it like a chess match. I don't know if you felt the same way maybe from the matches you saw yesterday, but we could see more of a slower paced game where they just go from objective, getting their to-do list done, and then it's just wham, bam, one big fight and it's all over. At least that's what my experience used to be. I don't know how it was yesterday.
No, it was a very similar story yesterday. Less random pickoffs, you know, lots of people moving around as a team, only going for objectives or ganks if you've got fairly clear vision and you know what you're running into, and it's the same kind of story in this game. Just another trade coming out, one of the most classic in all of Dota, Dire Tier 1. Safe lane gonna go down for Roshan, and a couple more items snagged in the mix as well. So this team fight just keeps potentially escalating. Yeah. We'll see who's gonna force it first.
The longer we wait for that big fight, the more dramatic that fight's gonna be, and the more likely we get a noob from UA moment, right? Well, we'll have to see if that's gonna be the case.
Here comes the smoke.
Okay. They're looking to come in from the north. In behind EHOME, there's going to be the Hex to lead things off. And, well, a finger. It's not going to do a whole lot, but in from behind, Landham could be in trouble. Gets the Hex off. Still alive for now, but be able to burst him down. Faith could be next. Will be next. It's a 2-for-1 trade as it stands. Luo looking to walk away from this one. Boom! Big blast. Chuan hits the deck. Now the Peeper coming out. Burning in the back lines. Looking to right-click home and kind of clean up what's left. Aegis has already been used as Inflame comes back with the second life. Dishes out a couple of raises, but gets vortexed into the lap of Ferrari. And now the finishing touch coming out from Burning. Not even necessary, as it's going to be Ferrari who cleans up the mess. And now it ends up being what looks like, what, a 4-for-2 when it's all said and done? But we could have more casualties here. They're making it go into Burning. They get Burning. Good jump in right there. Ferrari low on mana. Still wants to hang around and fight as Luo bounces on forward. He gets slashed up going in. Here comes Ferrari. He's going to get latched up. He'll be cleaned up. All 5 from IG go down when the dust settles. And from what looks like from EHOME, all but 1 drop. Nope, 2 alive at the end of it. So 9-7 your new score. That was a very promising IG lead-in, but then things turned around quite dramatically for EHOME. And, well, it doesn't start there, Cameron. We got to keep going. There's a quick pop in the mid lane. They get Landham. Now they jump to the next target. EDC could be next. Will be next. Oh, stun to the face. Boop. See you later. Double kill for Ferrari after he was just brought down. He already has 10 charges again.
Does that make it 5 for 5?
I don't
overall
know. Yeah, that was.
I think so. But with different heroes.
Long-winded fights ever. After we were just talking about like, oh, it's gonna be a while, and the longer we wait, the crazier the fight. Well, that was crazy.
There it was. I think the couple of things to point out. EHOME, IG actually, not the best coordination. Faith jumped in with his shiny new Blink Dagger and went onto ZYF, dropped both of his stuns and the finger, but nobody else on IG actually helped with that attempted kill. So ZYF survived on 50%, was able to bottle up a little bit, stick around in the fight, and get a lot of work done. And yeah, IG's target selection not the greatest. But then ZYF, after surviving, ends up running around in circles for 30 seconds and not really committing on anything. So a couple of little weird plays in that team fight, but still ends up working out being fairly even on the whole. Nobody really claiming any objectives after that bloodbath either.
Faith really likes to take the finger to Ember Spirit while his Flame Guard's up. Is there something behind that, like just trying to take down the Flame Guard quickly, or is it just an unfortunate circumstance that he happens to time out the finger while Flame Guard's there? It just seems like each time he catches it off on him, and I saw that as well, where he committed to going on this Ember, but everyone else is like, yeah, you got Ember, we're gonna do other things over here, and it just felt a bit awkward.
I think bot lane, it was definitely to just try and dispel the Flame Guard so that Burning would have a better chance of TPing out. So I think that was the reason. Bot and then mid, yeah, it was just misfire. He thought that Ember Spirit was the best target to focus down, and unfortunately the rest of IG didn't quite agree. So it is sometimes worth it to, if Ember Spirit's just put up the Flame Guard just to burn through it and remove that damage potential. So we'll see. We might make that play, a little bit later on as well.
It also felt like Burning almost got himself in an awkward position by the back end of that. He was getting off some good shots from his side, and the next thing you know, he was in the heat of the battle, along with his team, and that's not really want to be when you're a sniper. And he doesn't have any big positional items right now. In fact, after getting his phase boots and Mask of Madness, he's going for a BKB. I don't see that very often on sniper, but he thinks it's justified in this matchup that he gets that defensive tool before he looks to build into more damage. Any thoughts as far as BKB this early for someone like sniper? That means that he is not ideally going to always be in the best position, or he might be caught out.
I think it's a lot to do with the swap, honestly. Faith.
Yep, they move on in. They look to go on ZYF. They get their kill. Ferrari wants next, and they get Faith. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but they're able to secure the second support and some free and juicy wards. Now, I didn't get to say this in the draft, and it could have been a possible reason why there was a sniper pick there at the end, right after the Shadow Shaman, but with the recent changes to Shadow Shaman and his wards, heroes like Sniper can farm up those wards so easily, even from afar. They just take, I think it was like, what, their life is lowered? They're easier to bring down, I believe, and it just seems like it's a lot easier work for someone like a Sniper.
Yeah, it's really, really straightforward for Sniper just to farm them up. But yeah, going back to the thought about the BKB, I think part of it is that EHOME are going to be very willing to jump him with the Ember Spirit and very willing to try and swap him into the Shadow Shaman or the Shadow Fiend just to burst him down right at the very start. So the BKB at least gives him the opportunity to pop that, start running back towards his team. Hand of God can come in, Mech can come in, and they can potentially get the turnaround. So it is very conservative, and the way that Burning was itemizing yesterday, for example, on his Juggernaut, was he was actually building very squishy and went for Shadow Blade before Manta and this kind of thing. But this game he's being a little bit more conservative.
He always seems to have a unique twist on those kind of get-ups. I remember seeing that same style Jug back at DAC. It just seemed like he wanted to get move speed. He would just be all over the place, and once he had that Shadow Blade, he had like a Mask of Madness, and of course, like a Sanju Yasha underway. He was just all over the place, flying about, so I imagine he's just kind of going the same thing, and he has his own little niche here with the Sniper grab, and we'll have to see if it works out for him. BKBs early on can also be a bit sketchy because as the game really gets into the nitty-gritty, the deep end of it, you don't want to be stuck with a little 5-second BKB when you really need that seconds, 10, 9, 8 seconds even at that point. But it looks like they're going to take on this big old juicy stack right here as a team. Just farm together some sweet XP and gold. And speaking of which, we'll look over the early net worth advantage. It's going to be IG up and ahead about 5K. About the same for XP, but we'll see here as they look to progress forward. It looks like top could be the target here. Are they going to smoke and come in from behind? Do they even have a smoke here? Nope, no one's got the blaze. So I guess we're going to have to do it the old school way. They're going to wrap up and around, it looks like, Basskip, and try to hit EHOME from behind. Uh-oh, this might be a clash. The Cut Man leading out the charge is going to run right into Inflame. They jump forward. Immediate BKB Requiem. Unleashed, but they're able to jump back in behind. Their first casualty going to be Luo before he can even... Oh, he did get the Ravage off, but very ineffective here. EHOME still all standing. Now looking to dash on forward. Chuan able to save Burning as the last sacrifice to get him back to the base. Back in behind, you're going to see they're able to quickly finish out Lion, and, well, there goes Chuan on the forefront. So all of IG go down, only Burning alive thanks to a quick eject out of there from Chuan, and they don't lose anyone on the side of EHOME. How did things go dramatic so quick when it looked like IG were the ones trying to flank them?
Ravage didn't hit anything.
I didn't even see the Ravage. I was about to say Lil went out without even using, and I looked at him. I'm like, oh, he did use Ravage. I guess I missed it.
I think honestly, IG got stuck coming up this choke point. And so Tide ended up blinking from like back here into the camp, more or less, and dropped the Ravage to about here, but only Shadow Fiend. Well, Shadow Fiend would have got hit, but he'd already BKB'd at that stage because they scouted with the Spirit. So that was definitely not a good fight for IG. And the other thing that you can read into the BKB pickup from the Sniper is that Burning was, I think, more than willing to just gear up and start 5-manning. If you're anticipating that you're only going to be pushing or 5-manning, say, in the next 10-15 minutes, you can go for something that's a better farming item first and then grab the BKB when you need it. But grabbing it right now, as he has, sort of signifies that IG were sort of starting to feel the pressure in terms of needing to bring down these Tier 1 towers. They haven't even made any progress on the Tier 2s, and well, like we've said at length this game, I think EHOME have the better late game here, so pressure's on IG to keep it up.
Some of these heroes can fall off, especially if they're not able to catch up as far as itemization goes. And I'm pointing at you, Chen. I'm pointing at you, Tide. You got to make sure that you get everything underway. I mean, he does have a perseverance as Luo, but part of that is being able to make sure you get the most optimal ravages you can. And unfortunately, if you're losing two big, huge team fights, you're handing the staff of EHOME a lot of gold that they would be more than happy to really take advantage of. I mean, ROTK at the start of this game was what, brought down 2 times back-to-back, and now look at him. He's almost got a BKB. He's got a 4th staff. He's got 1K gold. He almost has the BKB complete. Things have been turning around very nicely, and EHOME have put on quite the recovery in the early phase, but I think it's smoke time, and it is. And it's going to be IG looking to kind of make a run back here. A bad fight again could, well, I don't want to say it too early, but it could cause him the game if it does not go too well. Oh, long jump, actually almost nipping at the heels there of Ember Spirit. But look at this. They're actually just going to go in the Roche pit.
Yeah, IG trying for the sneak. I don't think this is being spotted at all.
I'm looking at the vision, and there is no vision here of what's going on. That ping from Chuan. And with the IG vision, they don't really, I mean, they have a general idea as far as where EHOME is, but they are not close, and it looks like it will be a behind-the-back Roche. Taken, snagged up. It's going to be Ferrari who grabs that Aegis. Are they going to let them go for free? ROTK drops the Spirit, gets the catch on 2. They don't see Faith, but they see Chuan. Double Shrapnel unleashed. They want to jump forward. Faith moves in, but the BKB stops him from getting the Hex, and he almost gets brought down. Saved right there from the hand of God. Very nicely done from Chuan, but both teams expend a couple of spells and items in a bit of a footsie play. No team looking to make that big grope.
Yeah, it was a really good reaction from the Shadow Fiend. Inflame right as Faith tried to jump in on him and get the instant Hex, managed to pop the BKB and kind of disengage. So everybody lives. Age is still in the hands of the Storm Spirit. EHOME, you know, not the worst for them. They did manage to get both top and mid lane out a decent ways. So looks like they will end up losing tier 1 and potentially tier 2 bot, but they've at least put themselves in a position to still get some farm, still get some pressure on other parts of the map in the meantime.
So now they're knocking at this bottom tier 1. Ferrari being the standout of this game so far, and his Storm Spirit taking so much early momentum from his kills on the Shadow Fiend and has strung together a couple of sweet kills. He's gone down a couple of times since then and now has 8 charges on his Bloodstone. But he has been the one to kind of make the plays and jump in. But yeah, we'll have to see if it's enough here. They still have eyes on this bottom lane, but it looks like a relatively even trade. EHOME are happy to pressure this top lane with just Ember and the Shadow Fiend here for now, as Inflame will look to step back. EHOME consider a rotation defense, but no tier 2 is going to be taken down. IG, though, with this Aegis in hand, they can kind of control the tempo of the game for the little bit and decide on when the right time is to move on to that next objective, whether it just be another go at this bottom tier 2 or not.
Yeah, but EHOME have already managed to stall out.
Yeah, hold that.
Say that RTK gets jumped.
RTK's got to die real quick. Okay, now carry on.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, EHOME doing a really good job of stalling out the first 2 minutes of the Aegis with no casualties, and as the words left my mouth, there you go. RTK does end up being brought down, and IG just not giving up on this bottom tower there. Just going to keep on hammering in. They don't want to have to back off, because I think backing off means that you enter into a split push trade with EHOME, and if you do that, they're just going to completely wait out your Aegis. So they're trying to get some value out of it here.
They have Burning actually dangling at the front, getting some free shots on this tower. No one looking to make the bite quite yet. It looks like EHOME are just too in the dark to know exactly what's going on. And I mean, Burning, for all they know, could just be here by himself. And just the fact that they don't want to take the risk, they're going to allow them to just keep pushing here. And EHOME don't want to play this slow game anymore and hang around. They're going to go and farm elsewhere. So it looks like they're going to be sacking that tier 2 tower and just kind of progressing their farm. Maybe feeling more comfortable that as the game goes on, they'll be in an okay spot. So we'll have to see if that's the case. IG, though, after they take their tier 2, they rotate over. And look at this. Luo, he actually almost has his refresher complete. He's about, what, 800, 700 gold off, and he's working with some Ancients right now.
I think the other big reason for EHOME not to take that tier 2 fight, not only trying to wait out this Aegis as much as possible, but they're also close to a couple of items. ZYF was just about to pick up his BKB. I think it's actually flying out to him right this second, and Looks like Inflame is going for, I think just going for a Scotty probably with this ultimate ore, but he's also getting pretty close. So another couple of items for EHOME to also snag before they try and take an actual 5-on-5.
Yeah, and you gotta say part of the story is these supports, both sides these supports feel a bit neglected. It's like on both sides they're just kind of funneling most of the available gold towards their cores to kind of bring it home, and they've been kind of left behind. Though Flafe was able to kind of throw together his BKB, at least each have a luxury item for now. Tron's trying to go for that Agnum Scepter, but we'll have to see as this tier 2 tower slowly being withered down. There's going to be the jump. Ferrari makes the go on the DDC. He gets immediately hexed up before he can finish the job. Requiem gets zoned right in the middle. Hand of God, not enough to save him, but he has that Aegis, so he should be able to come right back. Chuan, though, not going to be so lucky. Could be chopped down here. Burning just preemptively pops his BKB and starts right-clicking down and popping his Ember Spirit. Ember tries to make the jump, slide of fist. Ferrari back from his Aegis life, moves on to ZYF, gets the finish right there. Meanwhile, Luo on the run, has not used his Ravage yet. Could pop it right here if he wants to. Jump back, pops it on the 3. Very nice catch. Ferrari makes the jump to try to clean up the mess. Assassinate flies through from Burning. They still can't take Inflame down. The stop goes out. There goes Inflame. Ferrari's still good. Here comes Burning. He's got the double kill. He wants more. Moving on forward. Doesn't have a charge yet, but Lanham jumps in, showing off his Blink Dagger and drops the wards. Burning. Whoa, Mask of Madness, help me now. Lord of Jesus, have mercy. He's able to kind of walk away from that. Oh, my goodness. Not done yet, though. ROTK could be caught now. Look at the mana come back from Ferrari. And there with that jump in, he's able to clean that one up. Another long-winded fight, but when everything is over, it's IG profiting the most.
Yeah, they got so much value out of the Storm Spirit Aegis there. Ferrari jumped in, got a bunch of stuns forced on him, was still able to keep the supports distracted the entire time, and the EHOME cores just kind of split up. Really nice Ravage from Luo as well, much better than they had on that top fight. But I think the one other big takeaway is that IG is still not up to the high ground just yet. Ferrari is getting monstrous, but EHOME are still holding on, at least for now.
Just seems like EHOME is able to kind of stall things out with these long-winded fights enough that by the time that everything is done, either IG are just too beaten and battered to consider going for another objective, or the people who died from the start of these skirmishes are already back from the dead, and at that point there's too much defenses to move in even with your beaten and battered body. So unfortunate timing for IG to follow on through, and as long as EHOME have their base to work with, they're fine. They might have to sacrifice a couple of tier 2s along the way, but they are very confident in their high ground defense. I mean, looking at their team, they have no reason to not be confident in it. So it's a matter of just possibly stalling and farming up to that period, and when IG try to make that final hurrah of a push, we'll have to see who's going to be coming out the victor, and that could end up deciding the game as a whole. But then again, IG, they have a sniper, and this, I gotta tell you, it wouldn't be the first time this week I've seen Sniper pull out big comeback kind of games also on the back of 2 rapiers. Hell, that's Russian Dota at its best, I suppose.
That was quite a game.
I don't know if Burning's that style. I have seen Burning also pull out rapier games and comebacks on the back of a Medusa also, so you really never know what the hell's going to happen here. But I gotta tell you, EHOME, up to this point, IG had looked pretty dominant, not gonna lie. But EHOME really making him work for it here in game number 1, and it is a best-of-3 series. So even if either team is to go down, there's a chance to even things up and hold on for a game number 3.
I think the one thing that EHOME have done much better than LGD did yesterday is maintaining control over their side of the map. The one big problem for LGD was that there was just always Radiant wards somewhere, and Ferrari was applying constant pressure and knew where he was safe. Not so much this game.
Oof. He's like in and out for that double damage, but 1 second lingering too long, and that could have been an easy pick. Fortunately for him, though, that's not the case. He's able to kind of pop in and out of that hole. No problem, but I guess that changes the plan for EHOME. It looked like they were going into that like confident as ever that they were just going to bull rush into the IG woods. They see that and they're like, never mind, we'll step away.
Yeah, okay, we've been spotted. Everybody scurry back. Defensive positions.
What's going on? All coincidence, I guess, is he just went for the rune, and with
yeah,
that,
I mean, it's totally blind for both teams in that area.
They're like, they must know what's happening. Let's get the hell back. So I guess with that, they're able to stall things a bit further, but it's hard to say whether or not that's to the better of IG or not. But they're going to keep farming on forward. Let's touch base with the item progression. Burning's managed to throw together himself a Scotty on top of that recent BKB purchase. Already has the Yasha. Could decide to either finish out his SNY or go down the road of picking up a Manta. We'll have to see there. Luo, no surprise, was able to finally finish out that refresher. So the next big skirmish is going to have 2 Ravages to dish out. That should be a big game changer for IG. Chuan's still working towards at least an Agnems for now. He does have the gem, though. Faith has got a Force, so serious mobility on your Lion. Being able to kind of zip in and out whether need be. And I guess as far as EHOME goes, your Shadow Fiend was able to finish that Scotty, still has 2,500 gold in reserve. ROTK, you know, we're not going with the Yule's get up that we see a lot of Elder Titans do. Just has the Force Staff for now, and it's just kind of holding the gem, and we'll have to wait and see what he wants to go for after that BKB. But, you know, there you have it. Just kind of seeing where the ammunition is for both of these squads. And look at this. IG smoked up. They place a very aggressive ward. It looks like they're kind of marking their territory as far as where they're looking to strike next.
This is a really crucial couple of minutes, especially with Roshan respawning. So IG willing to commit everybody's time to go for a group smoke just to get some sort of vision. You know, we've already got the Chen creep scouting things out, but as the clock keeps ticking, both teams are really aware of what's going on here.
There goes ROTK, throws the spirit forward. Immediate hand of God here going to be popped from Chuan as they wait and go back into a more defensive position here. EHOME, though, not looking to let up. This is where things get very tense. Jump and catch, swap back, immediately save, but Ferrari's not going to let him go anywhere. Jumps on back onto Inflame, who's going to get put down and trapped in with the ward. Puts out the Requiem, zip back from Ferrari to avoid the damage. Meanwhile, Faith was going down. Chuan going to be brought down as the Ember Spirit zips back. There's going to be the Ravage. Popped out the second one. Catches on 2, but he's going to be the one to go down. And on the right-hand side, they almost bring down Ferrari. Looks like a bit of a disaster right here for IG. Burning nowhere near. He's in a bit of a pickle here as he was just caught in a bad position. Goes up towards the wave, and his buddy Ferrari, well, they finish him off on the other side. 4 go down all day for IG. They can't get anyone down on the side of EHOME.
That extra Scotty health for Inflame really paying for itself there. I think he survived on like 200 and then managed to pop the mech and BKB and just keep on going. And great swap from DDC as well. No hesitation whatsoever. The Hex came out and got Inflame right back into the middle of the team and up to the safety of the high ground. I think that's another big factor for that fight. EHOME sort of holding the stairs and making it very difficult for IG's heroes to get up outside of Ferrari, and well, he zipped in, but then he just got split up from the team.
They really thought there was an opportunity to get a quick kill on Shadow Fiend, but then that swap back, and IG just kind of made the call or just kind of followed through with going aggressive into a very awkward positioning where EHOME had the upper ground advantage at that point, and it obviously didn't work out. And at the point, they kind of split apart from each other, and I think just IG got kind of put into a situation that it was going to be very difficult to fight out from. And with that huge team fight win, EHOME are in strong control of the game at this point. I mean, you're looking at the graph and you're like, oh, IG still have a little bit of an advantage, but I think it's, I don't want to say much more dramatic the other way, but I would have to say EHOME are definitely much more in control at this point. It feels like there's going to be a lot now on the back of Burning very soon, and EHOME have a lot more to work with. Now with an Aegis and a Cheese on their side, EHOME can kind of just set the standard on what they want to do, and IG better have a defense ready.
Yeah, and that control is compounded even more by the fact that they managed to claim IG's gem in the middle of that last fight, so now they've got sort of the map vision and map control advantage. And with the Aegis and Cheese, they actually might be able to go and start forcing some fights of their own. They know that the double Ravage is down at least for a little bit, but the defensive game plan, I think, also still works just fine for them here. They've got plenty of room to grow on both the Shadow Fiend and the Ember Spirit. So we'll see what they end up doing if they're feeling bold enough to start making some steps into the IG side of the map.
Yeah, that's where I feel like I see the biggest difference between a lot of these regions. Points like this, where you just secured your Aegis and you can kind of begin to decide on when it's your time you want to push. I feel like for this region of Dota play, they like to really nurse the clock and take advantage of as long of a timing window as they can. And then when they have that minute or two left on the Aegis shot clock, that's when they decide, okay, guys, I think we're good now. Let's go. Let's get to that base and let's get a tower or two on the way. Whereas other regions like, okay, we got an Aegis, we got the upper hand, let's just go. Let's fight right now. And they just pop a smoke even and just kind of make it happen. That's where you can kind of see the bit of difference in discipline between the different areas. But, you know, sometimes having more discipline and playing more passive doesn't always work out for you. I think we saw a lot of that during DAC.
Yeah, there is definitely a very calculated style for a lot of Chinese Dota, but EHOME know that they're ahead right now, and they're just going to pressure it. I really doubt that IG are going to be... Yeah, and I think EHOME are also thinking, yeah, there's no way that IG fight us for this tower. It's, again, a pretty terrible choke point for IG to potentially be moving up, and they're just going to give this one away, especially with the Aegis in the Ember Spirit's hands, but they will be forced to defend the tier 3, and EHOME are just going straight up.
Ooh, Chains connects on Chuan's going to bring down to a third life, maybe even less. Early Assassinate not going to do much damage on the ZYF. And EHOME, oh, they could have their hands full. Look at this, Ferrari jumps in, jumps out, just trying to keep them spread and away from the base. But look at the damage that's already been done to the tier 3. With these wards already dropped, it's going to be going down as well. And Rax is now exposed. ZYF continues to kind of play it similar to a panda, getting in their face, keeping them back and away from the structures. But it's Inflamed doing a real right click. There's going to be Faith, though. Jump in. Ravage number 1. Ravage number 2. They do take down Faith. He's going to be, Inflamed. He's got no Aegis. The Aegis currently in hand here is ZYF. He might get Burning. Will get Burning. Burning's going to have to buy back. He's still good and all well with the Aegis even, so they'll pop it right here. Oh, whoa! Nice avoid with the sleight of fist. Very well played right there from ZYF. On the backside, look at Ferrari. Camping out, hiding in the sidelines. They actually don't see him. Now they do. Gotcha! Now the Aegis will finally go down. But Ferrari, not a lot of mana to get away. Makes the one jump, and now he's stuck in a rut. Lamb's going to catch him, but here's Burning, his buddy. Remember, he bought back. He goes down here. It might as well be game at this point. EHOME move forward. There's the jumping from Luo with the Anchor Smash and the Gust. They're able to quickly burn down the squad, and they get the kill onto ZYF. A 5-man wipe the other way. It costs IG a couple of buybacks, or at least one big buyback there on Burning, and they do manage to save their melee racks. I don't know. Basskip, is that enough to get IG back into this game?
I don't think so, but it was still a beautifully executed defense. I mean, the one thing that goes terribly wrong there for EHOME is the Shadow Fiend getting bursted and getting absolutely 0 spells off. I don't know if IG managed to coordinate a jump in with the Storm Spirit onto the Venge as the Lion went in onto the Shadow Fiend, but there was just no disengage for the Shadow Fiend. Didn't end up being able to pop the cheese, wasn't able to pop the mech, no BKB whatsoever. I think if that doesn't happen, then IG just outright lose that fight and completely lose the lane of Rax. It still cost them big, though.
So Faith is like, I'm going to put the most aggressive ward ever, which will be spotted and immediately taken away. So he sees that and feels that maybe EHOME have a ward nearby to see the movement over, which they don't. Maybe one just expired, but tried to put down a sentry anyway, did Faith, and doesn't see the ward there. So for EHOME, they probably recognize that a gesture like that from Faith to put down a ward inside the base is like, IG, we need to make a push happen soon. We're looking to kind of get into your base and get what damage while we can, because the longer this game goes, those fights are going to get harder and harder, and we might not have the buyback or the real ammunition to kind of put up as strong of a defense as we already did.
Yeah, IG are definitely on the clock at the moment. The Sniper can still pick up some damage, but the Shadow Fiend and the Ember are just going to continue scaling up. Ferrari's getting controlled fairly well in these fights at this stage. Still has plenty of Bloodstone charges, still has plenty of farm. Actually, still far and away your net worth leader, despite how this game has been going, and managing to add a Hex to his inventory. Yeah. So he is definitely the X factor for IG at the moment.
What a player. 12, 3, and 5 in a game where they have 23 kills. He's been involved with the majority of them, and it's not really a surprise. Yeah, now Sheepstick on hand. Let's see what he can do here. They definitely have a lot to kind of put him in his place and keep him in check, but the more he builds up with these items, the longer he can live and the more he can really thrive. And I don't know, we'll have to see. As far as raw damage output in the late game, it doesn't really match up to his Spirit brother in the Ember Spirit, but he does have the trickery and the kind of side tactics to really frustrate a team like EHOME and force them to kind of be put in an awkward spot where someone like Burning could clean everyone out before they even realize it. And, well, that seems to possibly be the game plan here for IG. Will they get to do it, though? That's another question. This is going to be another window of time when they want to kind of calculate things as far as when their best window is to strike. And it looks like for EHOME, that opportunity is now. They smoke up, and they're going to head right into the IG woods as IG head out.
Looking for something, but lane's not in a great position here. So they, if you're EHOME right now, you're saying, okay, look, we got to find something in the Radiant jungle, or we're just gonna have to call it quits for now and go and handle the lane position a little bit. They do still have bot lane already with the single racks down, so that's naturally gonna start pushing towards the base. And I think it'd be really strange if EHOME decided to just charge down bot and look for that melee racks while there's still tier 2s up in the other lane. So I think they were just hoping for a random but important pickoff, and then switch over to either Roshan being a very short respawn, or switch over to mid lane and grab the tier 2 for free.
Yeah, they could play it safe and do the whole wait for Roche kind of a thing if they want to, but that's no fun. We want fights now, and, well, our OTK says, wait! As they'll have to pull out a pause, at least on the side of EHOME for now. So I guess with this opportunity, I can kind of show everyone what the schedule will be for today. So we got 2 best of 3s happening over here on Dota Starladder_EN, the English Dota Store or Dota Starladder channel. And it's IG versus EHOME right now. That's EHOME China, not EHOME Malaysia. And a best of 3 matchup. This is just game number 1. And then after this series, we have Newbie taking on Hyper Glory Team. And remember, this is the new Newbie squad. That's funny. And as they have gotten rid of, not gotten rid of, I don't want to say it like that, but as they made a deal and as kind of sent Zhao Wei over to LGD, where I believe he was purchased or bought out from his Newbie contract, and they have brought in, oh God, now it's on my mind. What was it? June? Oh, Jesus. I have the post right here. They have brought in, yeah, June. So it's Rabbit, Moo, June, Banana, and Sanshang. So I'm really curious to see. They had, I mean, is it almost an understatement to say that they had a lackluster showing at DAC? I'm curious to see what Newbie team is going to be showing up today. I mean, I don't know if you had any sort of idea. They haven't played at all, right, since DAC? Is
No,
this going to be their first time? So
this is the debut.
I'm so curious, man. Their DAC showing was poopy, very poopy.
Yeah,
I wonder if they've really
it was real
taken
bad.
it serious. It was bad. So hopefully they can kind of bring that back.
I was just really sad to see some of those players playing the way that they did, but and hopefully with some new blood on the team, everybody's back, everybody's focused, and they've got their sights set forward towards TI and whatever else.
Have their eyes off of the RPG games, I guess they've been playing instead, and on the Dota game that they should be. So I'm really curious about that one.
Is that instant Roshan respawn?
I don't know. You scared the hell out of me right there. It's just like, what happened?
I was like, oh, we're just about to find out when Roshan's gonna respawn. Oh wait, it's right now.
Oh, was it really that close? Oh
yeah.
My goodness. Well, good for you, EHOME.
There you go.
Good for
you. They got lucky. But
wow.
they were controlling the space pretty well. But if you're IG, that's just bad luck. Really.
Yep. Are you mad, RNG fans straight? Sorry. Oh, well. It looks like EHOME get the better of that. And now with Aegis on hand, they are very comfortable and confident on being able to take it to the next step. There are tier 2s still to buffer the way as far as making it to the high ground base. You got one here in mid, one here at top for IG. Bottom is very exposed, though. With only the melee racks left, we could see EHOME kind of finish things out there. First and foremost, step back, rejuvenate, and make a go at another set thereafter. So we'll have to see. But for now, it's that kind of meticulous period of farming on forward. Burning has been able to throw together an MKB here on his snipers. So there's some real hard-hitting troops, like maybe anticipating or at least taking care of the butterfly, which has already been picked up on Inflame. So that's a good, solid grab right there. And Inflame got an AC on his Shadow Fiend.
He's a beast. I mean, we talked about him tanking up with the early mech grab and that being his role in the team, that he is the sort of the stand-in for your usual front line, and the build just continues to be that.
So disgusting. You're talking AC, Natural Order, his already Presence of the Dark Lord, and Wave from Wave of Terror from Vengeful Spirit. I mean, is there even armor to be had in the game once you use everything? It's just like, why even bother? You become paper at that point. Oh man, that's gonna do some serious damage. You saw how fast Rush went down. Structures are gonna be the same.
Yeah, and IG don't have good heroes to carry a Vlad's or an AC necessarily at all, so they've got very little to answer back against the physical damage. I think the one thing that EHOME are waiting for right now is for RTK's Hex, but he's just going to grab that on the Courier, and then they're going to go snag these tier 2s and potentially even look to close out the game. They are still fighting into a Storm Spirit, so IG probably going to run a couple more of those Test of Faith bombs and have Ferrari diving deep into the back lines looking for some support pickoffs. He's also got an extremely valuable buyback up his sleeve to also use, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to turn the tides when EHOME come knocking.
Turn the tides because they have a tide 100. I see what you did there. I got you, buddy. But he's saving up a lot of gold on Luo, and he got the plate mail. So if you're asking for an AC candidate, he might have to be the one, but he can't fully invest in it quite yet. Have to put that buyback still on reserve just in case. And it looks like EHOME with their first offensive move forward. They take out that tier 2 structure mid, but they have their eyes on a bigger prize, and that looks to be the melee racks here at the bottom, or at least keeping this wave pushed on forward. Looks like it's been quite a while, the calm before the storm, but we could see the eye of the tornado here coming momentarily in this bottom lane.
So EHOME have only opened themselves up to taking 2 lanes here, but I think they're feeling pretty confident they may even be able to stick around. And this bottom rack is looking pretty free as well.
Okay, in flame. Boom, bang, boom. Rax almost goes down like that. Here's going to be the jump on in. One Ravage connects outside. Second Ravage as well. They quickly burn down both ROTK and Lanham, and they're going to be able to secure the Vengeful Spirit there after. Triple kill for Luo. In flame is going to get shot in the ass, and the back foot is able to eat the cheese and move and stay alive. So with that, moving in now, it's going to be ZYF with his own double kill. Big sleight of fist damage there. Your 2 big meaty cores here at EHOME, able to survive and thrive as they walk away, but they're happy as they have gotten the job done. Both racks will go down, and, well, it looks like they're just going to be able to wait things out. I don't think the Aegis was even used, right? Nope, not even used yet. EHOME can wait for their others to kind of revive and make another go at the base of IG.
Yeah, and that was even IG's best available play. They jumped into the back lines, they blew up all the squishies, made sure that there wasn't any counter initiation. Almost got the Shadow Fiend, but the cheese comes through and keeps Inflame alive. But now the critical thing is that EHOME are going to respawn, and IG have no Ravages.
Yep.
So, and they still have their Aegis, as you mentioned. But it's only there for a little bit longer. It's actually just about to fade, so not going to have it for the next push.
This is where IG are going to have to dig deep and pull out the defensive Hail Mary of a play at this point without even being able to break through the Aegis or take down either of those big badass cores. It's going to be hard. And like you said, without Ravages to work with, pretty much resources at an all-time low for them, this is going to be a bit tricky here. But no surprises, EHOME looking to cross the river. I say that, but they have yet to really commit to crossing it yet, except for Inflame here. But I imagine EHOME could still be knocking on the IG base. Given the fact that IG, without much to work with, it should be an easy opportunity to put a lid on this game.
Yeah. That said, though, IG are still keeping this very even. When our biggest gold lead this game was 7.5K, so barely anything. Kind of same story for Experience. We're pretty much down to even, and we could still very well see a fight where if IG just, if EHOME make 1 or 2 little mistakes, then they're on the back foot. IG are knocking down tier 3s, and the game could still go the opposite way. And little pickoffs like this could be the difference maker.
Top lane, big jump, ZYF of all the people is going to be brought down. What a solid grab right there from Ferrari to drop the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit does have buyback, but is out otherwise for 90 seconds. That secures a good stall, and he must have brought him down as the Aegis expired. Yeah, he couldn't come back with the second life. Look at this. It's IG going the other way. And
it's been down for about a minute. But
oh, wow.
Yeah. Just ZYF kind of off in his own world a little bit, and Ferrari with all of this mana can basically go anywhere on the map and punish. So
15 seconds, they have 2 Ravages also ready to go. Oh boy. This is their best chance to make a go back into the EHOME base. They've had the net worth control all game long, and even though it felt like EHOME were doing most of the damage and have already done base damage, look at IG go. Low ground burning, gonna pot shot away there on the tier 3. Jump in, Ravage #1. Holds off, Anchor Smash, refresh right there, but he's waiting for the BKBs to go down. So he Ghost Scepters and gets the second Ravage off. Burning begins to dish out the right click. Mega kill for Luo as they take down the Shadow Fiend, who has to buy back along with that Ember Spirit. So with that, they're able to burst down one. Look at Ferrari go. Jumps in, tries to make a go, but gets swapped back immediately. Still has plenty of mana to work with, so he double bops his way out from the base. Elder Titan goes down, and with that shot, they take down the Vengeful Spirit. So with that, it's 4 dropped all day for EHOME and 2 buybacks costing for both the Shadow Fiend and the Ember Spirit. This game is right back for IG. This is pretty good. They don't have Ravages now to work with, but at this point, my hands are up in the air as far as who's going to be taking the game.
Yeah, I think IG almost won that fight way harder. Ferrari actually managed to zip into the backlines and silence the Vengeful Spirit before the swap could come out as they were focusing on Inflame, but Inflame's build is just so tanky that he still managed to stand up and get a little bit of damage done before IG finished him off. Storm did end up going down, and Ferrari invested his buyback, so IG a little bit desperate to just finish the game right there, but they did get buybacks out of both the Shadow Fiend and the Ember Spirit as well. So this game is now kind of on knife edge. Another random pickoff from Ferrari on either of those heroes that just bought back could completely spell the game. So EHOME just gotta play as 5.
Let's see how RNG is going to treat us here with this second Roche clock now. Last time it was immediate to the point where you didn't even... Okay, well, Roche is up again.
Hello.
That was another, like, extremely small timer clock. Unless that was the second part of the clock, that was just dinky. Like nothing. In EHOME, they could scout it here and see it, and they will. IG are nearby. They have probably Chen creeps to look to scout things out, but that minus armor and damage, Roche isn't standing very long. I don't even think the wards were necessary, but that's how desperate they are to take it down quick, and they do get it down. Aegis is going to be immediately picked up from ZYF, so now he doesn't have to worry about not having his buyback. That was just too quick and easy. I don't even think it really needed to use the wards for that one. So I guess 100 seconds without the wards, but EHOME can now stall things out for that 100 seconds if they want.
I don't know if EHOME realize how fortuitous these Roshan respawns have been. I think that one was like not instant after the 8 minutes, but it pops up right as they're arriving at the pit to check it, and IG just happened to be also on their way over, but a little bit too late. And what a huge Aegis and Cheese to get as well after they just expended 2 buybacks. But I think EHOME have learned their lesson this time around. They're going to be backing up ZYF as he pushes the top lane, and should have another big team fight coming up. Double Ravage up in about 10 seconds time, and just once again we'll have to see how execution goes.
That seems to be the crucial key here, and what started as a game where it was IG who felt maybe they were going to be pressured on the clock to get things done, and EHOME being more dominant. Now quickly things have been flipped over. IG putting out a stellar couple of defenses there on the bottom, and then a good solid pickoff from Ferrari has really opened the door for him. But now they're going to be tested once more after already losing their bottom center racks. Top could be in jeopardy here. Aegis and Chiefs on the side of EHOME, so they feel a bit more comfortable as they move in. Huge structural damage with all that minus armor, AC, and everything else in tow. They wipe the floor of the tier 3 very quickly. IG don't want to expend anything quite yet for defense. And well, looking at Luo, he's got 2 Ravages ready to work with here. But it's all about that execution. It's all about the right timing. Last time he did wait very, very good. He saw the BKBs come up after the first, waited, stalled. He has a Ghost Scepter to kind of help with that stall period, but he might have to do it again. ZYF toying with the idea of committing. First Shrapnel also going to be popped here. So much tension between both these teams. Who's gonna strike first?
Luo really wishes he had a smoke. They don't have any, but otherwise he could be smoked and be much harder to find and wrap around from the side, but just to go in the front this time.
Jump in, immediate BKB response. Going in the back lines, though, is going to be Ferrari, but your first casualty is going to be Faith. Jump in first, Ravage connects, but BKBs were popped. Second one goes, and they quickly take down the Shadow Fiend. Now it's ROTK on the run back. Will could be in trouble. Ghost Scepter going to be popping. It's Burning, catching the assassin to kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Well, here's ZYF. Still moving, bopping on forward. Shallow Grave has the Aegis still to work with, but they're not feeling comfortable. The long jump from Ferrari can't quite get the catch. There's going to be the second jump, low on mana. Gets the silence onto Lanham, but he could be in trouble himself. That might have gone too far. They turn back onto Ferrari and finish him off. He is out. 50 seconds, no buyback. Ferrari this time might have gone one step too far outside the base to try to get a kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's been winning them the game up until this point, I think, with stopping the Venge swaps on the Shadow Fiend, but does overextend just a little bit there. It looks like EHOME going to claim another lane of Rex.
They drop the wards. Burning going to try his best to maybe clear him out or get some damage in. Luo jumps in. Please, take my body. Don't look at the Rex. Throws down the Anchor Smash to nerf some of the damage. Still, they both stand, but here we go. Now Faith jumps forward, gets the Hex. ZYF, his first life, going to be claimed there. Will they commit for the second one? No, they won't, because a quick Remnant is going to allow ZYF to bungee himself out of there. When they walk away, Tier 3 goes down. Your range Rex, barely alive with about 100 health. And they lose a Tier 4, so huge boost of income, which we don't see on this fight recap. Thanks, Valve. That's probably the worst fight cap I've ever seen. But it's going to be EHOME who still thrive. 27-32. They have yet to even get the net worth lead this game, but they're almost up 2 sets of racks. That's just funny how the efficient farming of IG just continues to help them out.
This game is just so good. Yeah, I'm speechless. It's just like I am enjoying every minute here, and it could still go either way potentially.
Yeah,
advantage to EHOME, but yeah.
I feel like if I was seeing other teams in this position that IG are in, it would have been over already.
Where's the party?
But they find their way to kind of stall things out with smart plays like Ferrari being able to kind of cancel out those swaps and really hit up those back lines hard. It's really helped stall this game out quite a bit. And they're making EHOME really sweat for these racks. Really sweat it on out. But Burning continues to bring together the gold and the farm. He's got Daedalus, MKB. His BKB is obviously going to be down to 5 seconds, but he's got 3k gold saved up in reserve. Obviously holding a good chunk of that for his buyback. But, I mean, does it get to a point where we see a Rapier come out? I mean, where does he really take it from here? Is it worth selling something off like your Mask of Madness to try to take it to the next level?
I want it to be Rapier time, but I think potentially the way that these fights have been going, I don't feel like Burning has been. They haven't really gotten to Burning all that much, so I think you can, from that perspective, justify something like just going more damage. I think the very safe option is make sure that you always have buyback, and potentially you can swap out, say, the Mask of Madness for a Satanic, so that if you do get jumped. You can potentially just pop the Satanic and go to work. But if the sniper is getting jumped, I feel like EHOME are not going to let him escape. If the Vengeful Spirit or the Shadow Shaman has somehow managed to get past the Storm Spirit and start getting disables down, then I think he's dead either way. And this is a huge play from IG.
Man.
Just a 5-man smoke wraparound. This is their last smoke.
It's a KotLGuy line. Coming in from behind. Pop, 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 pop. They all see each other jump in. They drop the Ravage. Right from behind. Double Ravage as they annihilate the Shadow Fiend. Lion goes down. BKBs and Ghost going to get popped at this moment. Ember goes down thereafter. And he has to buy back immediately. They lose 3. It costs them 2 buybacks. Lanham's still here, though. Holds down Ferrari, ROTK. With the help now of ZYF, they try to isolate and bring him down. And he's going to be caught all alone. The Ferrari's put back into the body shop, and EHOME still managed to thrive. Cost them a lot. Valiant play, though, from IG. Huge flank attempt with that smoke.
That Yules from Lamb was so clutch to keep Ferrari there and get his Hex back off cooldown. But yeah, IG go all in, but EHOME still have resources left to throw out, and that's going to be a double buyback. We'll see if the Roshan respawn will once again be kind to them in about 40 seconds time.
Oh, man. So we'll wait to see. IG hoping that the clock will be long and EHOME will be forced to stall a bit longer before they can get comfortable with their second life that they could potentially throw away their first. So Back to the drawing board here for IG. Still have 2 sets of racks on their side to work with here. Burning continues to farm up and be the real damage dealer. Now 5.2k, hasn't spent a penny of it yet. Ferrari was brought down, but because of his bloodstone, it doesn't take him too long to get off from the sidelines and back into play. 6,100 gold for him. Oh, jump. He's trying to make another pick on his ZYF. Silences him up, times out the Vortex pull after. He's got to get it done quick before help shows up. Anticipates the jump once, anticipates it twice, 3 times. Can't get it done. Gets sheeped. Swap back save. Helps out ZYF. What a play from DDC, and Ferrari now could be in trouble, will be shackled up. Oh no, the effort was appreciated, but they can't get the kill. Ferrari goes down 68 seconds, no buyback, and look at this. Guess who's already backing up? It's Roche. But look at Chuan doing it. IG are going to go for it real quick.
IG are all in here. They have to get it and get out before EHOME realize, but they don't have any vision. There's no wards. There's nothing to indicate that this is happening.
Here comes Ferrari right into the pit. Thank you very much, Melee Creep, for giving him the express service. Aegis and Cheese for the first time since, I believe, the first or second Roche. Going to go back now towards IG. I think that's the 5th Roche all day. I don't even know what the hell's happening. We're at 63 minutes in. This is just our first game of the night and our first match here in this best of 3 between IG and EHOME, and the definition of meticulous and methodical Dota happening here, as this is the biggest test this new IG roster has had to take against EHOME. Very impressive stuff from both sides. Super awesome.
I'm just not even sure what EHOME can do here. The double Ravage is going to be back up, so support counter initiation is extremely difficult. DDC has picked up a Blink Dagger just so that he can be further away from the fight and not get caught by random, by targeted stuns and silences, looking for him to prevent the counter initiation on the Shadow Fiend.
Here we go. For the first time in quite a while, it's IG going to the other side of the river and going towards the EHOME base. And we'll see if they can get it done. Their Aegis in hand, of course, of Ferrari. He can get a bit aggressive here early on if he wants, but if he does lose this Aegis and his second life, he has no buyback to fall back on. Committing his buyback to be a part of that Roche. We'll have to see what they decide to do. Burning still also holding his offshore account of wealth, near 8k gold. Obviously has the buyback if necessary, but they want to be able to do some serious base work here. There's the jump, immediate sheep, but the force forward, they're trying to save and flame. Can they get it? Swap back, Ferrari still moving forward, double Ravage in the meantime, gonna be dropped. DDC popped right there, 2 go down. Burning is gonna be taken out immediately, has to buy back to come back, and now it's ROTK walking back and away. They need someone to focus on the tower. The tier 3 is gonna go down. Buyback has to come out. Shadow Fiend dead, 100 seconds. It's going to be IG doing damage now inside the base of EHOME. They need ZYF to get in there and stop them, because IG going to be taking their racks. Jump in on Ferrari. Going to get a hold of ZYF, and they get the kill. He's out. 2 minutes. No buyback. It's IG. They're going to take the game. Unbelievable. Here, take that cheese. It's Gouda. Moving on forward. Shiva's going to be popped in. You're right, man. That's it. Unbelievable. With that, IG, what looked like a staggering game that EHOME were going to be able to kind of close things out. They put up a couple of back-to-back strong defenses. And I got to say, man, MVP Ferrari. What a player. His Storm finishes 16-7, but because of all those picks, because of all that space, getting in the face, Vengeful Spirit not preventing them from getting the easy saves and defensive counterattacks, they get the job done. And very impressive stuff. I mean, you would look at this game from the outside, you'd see a net worth graph that was always in favor of IG, but you had to watch the game to start to finish to feel like that was EHOME's game, and IG just took it away from them.
Yeah, and the other big thing, EHOME just never got an initiation. IG made sure that every single time they were the ones going in aggressively with the Storm, they were the ones going in aggressively with the Tide, and as much as EHOME were planning to be able to counter-initiate and save the Shadow Fiend, IG always managed to find some way to prevent that from happening. I feel like in the last few fights, the only thing that Shadow Fiend did was die in 3 seconds flat, and then that was it. So all of his farm ended up really being for naught, but really impressive from IG to bring this game back. But honestly, phenomenal play from both teams. I just hope we get as good a game for Game 2.
Yep, and that Game 2 should be coming up in just a few moments. We're going to wrap things up here. I'm KotLGuy. That's Basskip. You can go ahead, and I said Basskip again. Oh, God damn it. Basskip. The thing is I'm so hard on myself, and I'm like, I know what it is, but what? Forget it. Anyways, guys, more Dota action should be coming. We'll see if EHOME can shake off that loss and look to bounce back and try to make it a 1-1 series and take it to a Game 3. IG, we'll see if they can close things out and walk away here from StarLadder Stage 1 undefeated. We'll be back in just a moment with more Dota action.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember, G2A.com, the best video game store ever!